Okay, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And just check your feet. And perhaps if your feet are down on the ground, if you're sitting on your chair, you can have them about a hip's width apart, shoulders aligned with the hips, and imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And I'm thinking if my host could please check everybody's on mute. So just lengthen the spine and put a bit of space in between those vertebrae. Imagine your ears are aligned with your shoulders so that the head isn't sort of tipped too far forward. And just feel like you're lengthening. And then you can have your hands resting in your lap, wherever is comfortable for you for this meditation. So just bring your attention to the crown of the head and release the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, the temples, the back of the head, the back of the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. And be aware of any sounds in your environment. So you may, on Zoom here, we've all got people in our houses. We have animals running around. Well, not, we don't have inside here, but some of you have pets. I've become quite familiar with your pets. They sort of become part of our group. But anyway, these just become little distractions for us. So, being on Zoom is actually quite a good training for us to really try and keep focused in the midst of, small amounts of chaos, or in the midst of activity anyway. So just notice what's arising in the mind and allow the thoughts to be there, trying not to follow them, making up stories. And try not to judge your thoughts or, feel critical towards yourself. So just allow the thoughts and be happy you've seen them. Be curious, because due to the nature of impermanence, the thoughts will change, and in some cases it's a good thing. So you can categorize your thoughts. You can even it could be as simple as, oh, I'm thinking, I'm planning, I'm future tripping. Maybe recognize that what you're thinking right now may be a scenario you've created of a future event that is never going to happen anywhere except in your own mind. Just think about that. Then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, the ones you don't like so much, and your strangers, and just imagine that they're all going to change place at any time. They all can change place at any time. And they're all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the first of the four opponent powers, the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. So think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor. So here we have our, oops, there we go. There we go, Vajrasattva. So we see this Vajrasattva not as a higher power that's going to come down and swoop down and remove all our sins kind of thing. He's a Buddha who has methods, like a doctor has methods to help us heal ourselves. So I really do feel the more I do this practice, it's more, to me, it feels more like a healing practice. Purification sounds in a way sometimes a little bit intense. But healing I quite like. So anyway, we're not needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. And in this process, we're healing ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, sort of just a couple of inches above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then we have this other little section in this reliance section, this subsection called developing compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and just have compassion for them, because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So compassion means being sort of free from suffering, wishing someone to be free from suffering. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others with the body. Excuse me. And next is our purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So we can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all the inappropriate speech, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch. The light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So, just as the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness and grudges and depression, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dinapatita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dinapatita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimuta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So really try and imagine that. And next is the power of resolve. So it's the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's where we're making a determination, a decision to try and refrain from harming with our body, our speech, and our mind. And so without this, we're going to keep following the same old habit patterns over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to talk about everything being on the tip of the wishes. So rejoice in your own efforts coming here night after night. And then think if there's something that you know that's a habit for you that doesn't really serve you or other people around you. Maybe you can think about refraining from that habit for, 5 seconds. Or the other one, as Yangtze Rinpoche was suggesting, check what's going on with the mind. Watch as that ego scammer starts to raise its head. Watch the moment that ego arises. That strong I did not do that. Why are you doing this to me? One time at Bodhi Stupa in Kathmandu, I was circumambulating. There's always lots and lots of people there. And I banged into someone and they apologized to me. So I think this determination to refrain from harming is what gives us strength to change. And imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a moment. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this evening to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then we think a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, to be able to continue to teach. And then for the swift return of precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation. And then also for your own precious teachers, that they live long and healthy and happy. And Elizabeth wanted to dedicate for... Oh, Flacco, the eagle owl. Yes, I heard about the eagle owl, Flacco. He escaped his enclosure at New York City's Central Park in early 2023, and he's been flying around for the last 12 months or so. And he flew into a building. So he's passed, but it's brought to light all the amount of birds are actually killed in cities by flying into windows. So anyway, Flacco the eagle owl. All right, everybody. Lots of love. Thank you so much, very, very much. Thank you for hosting my hosts. And I'll see you all, some of you, tomorrow morning. We'll do Medicine Buddha. All right, thank you.